Before I make a pronouncement, I also have to deal with the indemnity of Ms. Lombard. I have decided not to deal with that application or my determination of it now. It will be clear from what I've said so far that there will be another stage in this case. And one doesn't know what more evidence might be presented at that stage that might influence that decision. Furthermore, in the event that I have doubt on that question after all the evidence in the case has been laid, I might consider wanting to grant Ms. Lombard's legal representative to address me on the issue before final determination is made. But the primary reason is that I foresee a possibility that evidence might still be laid in the next phase of this case that might impact that decision.
Let's do a quick recap of who Renz is, especially for those who are new to the Joshlin Smith disappearance, kidnapping, trafficking case that has just concluded with Judge Nathan, Judge Tim Erasmus issuing his judgment. Sentencing hasn't yet been done, but I felt it necessary. Let's go back to who made the judgment possible or who contributed a large part to this, and that is Renz. Well, she is Laurentia Lombard, Miss Laurentia Lombard. Don't confuse it when the judge says Detective Lombard. There is no relation between the two, okay? Just coincidence that the detective who investigated this case is also a Lombard. But who is Laurentia Lombard? Laurentia Lombard is a Section 204 witness. What is a Section 204 witness? It is somebody who was part of the accused. She was definitely one of the accused. And then she decided about 7 months later, she was arrested in March, the 13th of March, 2024. And, after a lot of sleepless nights, I imagine, inside Pagati within the prison, she decided, you know what, my friends are the real Gulugutus here. Why am I inside Pagati? I have 2 young children and my boyfriend Ayanda. I haven't seen them since I've been arrested. I want to get out of here. I am going to turn state witness, and by that I'm going to write out my statement, a brand new statement that tells the full story, the whole story of what actually happened that night from the 18th, that is the Sunday, the 18th of February 2024, all the way, ladies and gentlemen, until the 20th of February 2024. Joshlin Smith went missing on the 19th of February 2024, and we heard the judge saying her stepfather and biological mother just didn't have the common sense behavior to at least pretend to look for Joshlin or even care on her whereabouts. They went about their life and went to bed. But I've done a full video on that. Check the previous video. But here we are talking about Laurentia Lombard. What is significant about her 205 testimony? She's a state witness, okay? You can see in these screenshots that I have here, she has changed significantly from what she looked like when she was part of the accused. That's because she's being taken care of by the state. And she actually has a defense lawyer. She has legal representation, which kind of confuses me, because when she took the stand at the very beginning, there was a whole introductory session. They told her, listen, girl, you have to have your legal representation. And she said, no, thank you. I don't need it. I am ready to talk. I want to get this off my chest and let the judge know. She was actually speaking so fast, the judge had to say, whoa. Slow down. I know you really want to tell us what happened, but we're going to have to do this step by step and slowly. We're going to ask you questions. Now, first, we've got to figure out if you understand what's going on here, if you're of sound mind, if you're making the right decision, because once we start, there is no turning back. And she said everything, and the judge then determined she was definitely of sound mind and is doing this freely and willingly, and she wasn't promised anything. The state made it very clear in front of the judge that she has not been promised anything, and Renz also acknowledged. And the state made it clear to her that Judge Nathan Erasmus is the only one who can grant her full indemnity. That is, free discharge, an honorable discharge from this case. All charges dropped. No consequences, no time served. Judge Nathan is the only one. So all she had to do was get in that stand and do a phenomenal job of presenting the evidence. Unfortunately, it was a bit shaky, okay? She had to be carried away twice, I believe it was, because the heat was too high inside cross-examination over there when it came to her version of what happened. And she struggled, okay? She struggled in the witness stand. Then the defense is saying she's a biggest liar, okay? And there's a lot of inconsistencies. And then somewhere down the line, she also confessed to Judge Nathan that she lied. So it's pretty shaky. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Her witness testimony, her 204 testimony, actually gets corroborated by some other additional evidence from other witnesses, and the two accused included. That is, accused number 1, accused number 2, Buta and Steffi. Now, why are we bringing this up? Renz she's in a tough position. I had thought, yay, conviction, she's good to go, because that's the deal. Your testimony has to lead to a conviction for the state. The state must win this case for you to walk away and all charges be dropped. The state is willing to do that. But it's for Judge Nathan Erasmus to pronounce that. Now, in the clip that I played just ahead of this, we hear the judge saying, I also have to deal with the indemnity of Miss Lombard. I have to decide. I have decided not to deal with the application on determination right now. Guningi. Basically, the judge says, Guningi, okay, we cannot do that. It's going to be too much in the pot. We've got to separate these issues. Okay, we do the 3 guilty as charged of the 2 charges against them, kidnapping and trafficking of Joshlin Smith, who still has not been found. And then from then on, let me work on Renz all on her own. Okay, we've got to work with that. Because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Now, this surprised me. It will be clear from what I've said so far, there will be another stage in this case. Who ever heard of a part 2 of a case after you found 2 people guilty? But there's going to be a part 2, and that part 2 is taking place inside Bagati, the real high court over there inside the Cape Town, okay? Over there in Cape Town. And that's going to be next week, Friday. So stay tuned, but we're going to do additional videos throughout until Friday, because there's still so much for me to break down, okay? And I love breaking this down. I love it so much. I'm so intrigued. So the judge says, it will be clear from what I've said. Because I drop hints. If you guys aren't picking up, aka Mkabai, Mr. Harris. Why am I suffering to say his name? Okay, the defense attorneys, okay? If the defense attorneys didn't pick up this hint, the judge makes it clear at this point, he says, and he uses his words now, he says, it will be clear from what I've said so far, there will be another stage in this case. One doesn't know what more evidence. What do you mean? What more evidence? Judge Nathan, we are out here celebrating a guilty charge. Now you're talking about more evidence? The judge says one doesn't know what more evidence might be presented at that stage that might influence that decision. Ladies and gentlemen, it's about to get real tough for Renz. She wasn't in the courtroom. Tried to spot her. She wasn't there. But do you know who was there? Every single policeman that worked on that case. Every single one. Okay? Woo! And then we move on to say, and then the judge says, in the event that I have doubt, after all the evidence has been led, it's not definite, I might consider granting Miss Lombard's legal representative to address me. We know Judge Nathan loves to be addressed. Your arguments have to be on point, and you have to listen, okay? Laurentia Lombard's legal representative, if you don't already know, we know because we've been watching this, okay? Judge Nathan wants to be addressed. You have to do your heads of arguments. You have to quote authorities and other case references, and you gotta know if he was the judge. Please do not embarrass us. Okay, now that I got that out the way, I think he will grant the addressing, because that's part of Judge Nathan's MO. Because we heard how much he hated that Kelly and friends, them Gulagoters, did not stand up to defend themselves. At least he says, at least say they're lying. Say something. Anything. But I choose my constitutional right to remain silent. Get out of here. He didn't quite say that, but that's what he implied, in my opinion. Okay? Then he goes on to say, the next phase of this case, I see more evidence being presented that might impact that decision. Ladies and gentlemen, good luck to Renz. She's got a lot of work to do. Ooh, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your predictions. This is a developing story. I can't believe I'm even saying that. That time we're thinking we're done. Next thing we're going sentencing. There's more work. I'm going to end this right here. Let's talk more in the comment section. I absolutely love it when you guys engage. If you haven't made it if you've made it actually this far in the video, you know you absolutely have my heart. If you are still not subscribed, if you're watching this video from outside the club, know that you are infringing on our channel's freedom of movement. Okay? On our channel's freedom of movement, you're inhibiting our channel's growth. And that can be a charge of kidnapping. So go ahead, hit that subscription button, hit that like button, hit that share button, do all the things. Okay, you know the house rules by now. And those are all the things that touch and help this channel to continue to grow. I am excited for the growth. I'm excited that you're here, and I'm excited to continue bringing these videos for you. Thank you so much for watching. I love you. I'll catch you on my next upload. Enjoy the weekend. Bye.